What is up, my pen friends and paper lovers? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and I just want to say thank you so very much for over 20,000 views on my 11 ways to fill your notebooks video. It's a video that I posted over a year ago, so if you haven't seen it, I will link it off in the description box below. And to show my thanks for all of your support, I wanted to share 11 more ways to fill your notebooks. First on this list is a sales tracker. So I've done a video on this on my channel before as well, so I'll link that in the description box below. But basically, I was in the process of doing a round of KonMari, and I realized that I had a lot of stuff that was still in great condition that might spark joy for someone else. So I decided to go back to an app that I was using called Poshmark. It's an app where you can essentially sell gently used or new items of clothing. And so I took to Poshmark, as well as signing up for a new app that I hadn't tried before, Mercari, as well as Relove and even OfferUp. And because I was using so many platforms, I felt like I needed a space to really get organized on what I was listing where and when it was sold. That way I could take down the other posts from the other apps. So I put together a really simple tracker for myself in my tool disc bound notebook. I also use the same notebook to do rock your handwriting prompts. So for any sort of handwriting practice, that could be another way that you could fill up your notebook. The rock your handwriting prompts are great because there's one for every single day in the month, and you can hold yourself accountable. Like if you're really trying to make it a goal to use this notebook, this might be an excellent option, because then you can post a picture of your prompts on your Instagram and share it and connect with others who are also doing the same prompts. So another way that you can fill up your notebook is by doing ink swatches. So I have this Rhodia dot pad that I dedicate for whenever I'm doing swatches in a video. That way I can give you guys a good frame of reference, but really it can be any notebook that you're using. And this can be a great way to test out any new pens on your notebooks, and you can kind of just dedicate a couple of pages and just do swatches to see how the pens that you're using or markers or whatnot is going to perform on that particular paper. Something that I haven't done yet but I've been wanting to do is do washi tape swatches and have like a full journal of just all of my washi tape and sort of treat it almost like a stamp collection, where that's what you see in that notebook. Another notebook that I started was one that I actually circled back to. So this was a journal that I kept sort of in my late high school years, but didn't really get very far with because there was a thing called Tumblr, and I did most of my journaling online. But now that I'm back to pen and paper, I wanted a place where I could keep those posts. And instead of just printing them straight off of Tumblr, I thought it would also be a great way to kind of practice my handwriting. So it's sort of like my suggestion earlier. It would also make an interesting journaling prompt to look at old diary entries and then reflect back on them. I also use this notebook to write down new words that I came across whenever I was reading. Basically, I would write down the word and then quickly look it up on my phone or computer, jot down the definition, and then reread that particular passage with the new definition in mind. And that seems like the perfect segue into this next notebook. I keep this notebook with me whenever I'm reading a new book, and I'll jot down little notes for new words that I come across, quotes, or any particular wisdoms and takeaways that I have as I'm reading, and I just spread it out sort of in a mind map fashion. It's sort of like my own little Spark Notes version, but very high level and a lot more broad, but it serves as an excellent reference for things that I want to further look into and don't necessarily want to search for again in the book. Speaking of books, I'd be completely remiss if I didn't mention that Preptober and NaNoWriMo are right around the corner. Last year was my first year participating in NaNoWriMo, and it was an amazing experience. I actually filled up 3 notebooks. If you're unfamiliar with NaNoWriMo, it is a creative writing project that is hosted internationally, or basically across the internet. I don't want to sugarcoat it. It was definitely challenging to handwrite, not even type, but just handwrite the first 50,000 words of a first draft of a novel. But again, it was extremely rewarding. not for the faint of heart, but if you're serious about filling up your notebooks, then you might want to consider participating in Preptober and NaNoWriMo this year. This next notebook is one that I haven't been keeping up with, but when I did start it, I was pretty consistent. So this is my dream journal. At the start of every morning, I would take this journal downstairs with me. I would feed my dogs breakfast, and during that time, I would just try to recall as much of my dream as possible. I'm the type of person that has pretty vivid dreams, and whenever I share those dreams with my family or my husband, they're just like, what the heck is going on, Devin? But because of that, I figured a journal would be a great place to reflect on those dreams. And I even took to highlighting certain symbols and trying to find some sort of definition of what that meant. So I was using a website called dreammoods.com. I don't know if that website was still up, and I think that's actually why I slowed down on writing in this, because the website wasn't working and I couldn't interpret my dreams anymore. I'm sure that there are other resources that you can find online if you want to go down that route. Dream journaling is also an excellent tool in exercising your memory and recall. It's something that Jim Kwik talks about a lot, and I'm a huge fan of Jim Kwik, so if he says yes, this is great for your brain, then I'm all for it. This next journal is kind of personal, so forgive me for not flipping through it with you guys, but I decided to start a notebook with letters to our future son or daughter. My husband and I have talked about kids, and we get asked constantly by our family and friends if we're gonna have a baby anytime soon. We're still enjoying very much each other and just being in our marriage together. So while that's still a little farther on the horizon for us, there are just times where I am thinking, this is what I would tell my son, or this is what I would tell my daughter, or these are the things that I would want to share with them. And that's why I decided to start this journal where I could just write to them and talk to them even before they're here. So it's a notebook that I plan on keeping for the long haul, and I'll eventually gift to them when I feel like they're old enough. I think this would be such a cool gift on their 16th birthday or their 13th birthday or some significant milestone like that. But writing letters in general is just such a great journaling tool. You could be writing to your past self or your future self. You could even write letters to someone that you're not able to physically talk to or communicate with anymore, or these letters can be to someone that has hurt you. Something that my sister told me about when I was younger and I was sort of flailing around in my teenage angst was, if I was feeling a certain way, emotionally distraught, a great thing to do is write it all in a letter. And it might not even be a letter that you end up giving to that person, but just writing through and talking to that person sort of helps you reach a resolution within yourself. That's something that's always kind of stuck with me, and I think can be useful for you guys too. This journal is one that I haven't started, but we're going to start it today because I just love the concept behind it, and I think it would be a great way to sort of motivate myself. Essentially, it's a journal where I'm going to keep track of something new that I learn every day. And really my intention behind this journal is to promote the idea that I should always be growing and always be learning. This can be a skill or a fact or something about myself, like a realization. It's not really about what I know, it's about what I don't know. If I could learn one new thing every single day, at the end of the year, I will have learned 365 new things. This is something that you could easily do in your planner as well. If you have a calendar layout that maybe you skipped or aren't planning on using, you can just use each of the days to fill out whatever it is that you learned that day. Or if it better strikes your fancy, you could do a list format and just do a numerical thing. Really just set it up in a way that makes sense to you. And as with all of these suggestions and anything in life, it's okay to go through drafts of these things. I would love to hear from you guys. Which of these ideas are you most excited to start implementing so that you can start filling up your notebooks? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it with a friend who you think might also enjoy it. I love talking about all things pen and paper, so if that's your jam, you should definitely stick around. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss any of my videos. I do my best to upload here every Thursday evening, so please take care until then. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.